Welcome, seekers of truth and wisdom, to Soul Wisdom Transitions, where we embrace the magical dance between the mind, the body, and the spirit. This sacred space is dedicated to guiding you on a soulful journey of self-discovery, personal growth, and spiritual awakening. Get ready to harness the power within as we embark on a transformational odyssey towards a more enlightened and fulfilling existence. Open your hearts and minds, for the wisdom of the soul awaits. Let the transition begin. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Wisdom Transitions, where we explore the various stages of personal transformation and spiritual growth. I am your host, Terry, and today we have a very special guest joining us. Please welcome Jodi Greve. Jodi, an avid lover of travel, is a sought-after motivational speaker and author. Her messages help you identify and eliminate excuses. She speaks from personal experience from her adventures hiking the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, the Mirador Las Torres in Patagonia, and to the rooftop of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro. And I was impressed with my 14er, but I digress. As a performance mindset coach, Jodi mentors and supports her clients working on goal setting, the mindset needed to reach these goals, building confidence, and all-around self-care. She emphasizes with clients that winning doesn't mean that you always finish first, but that the skills you gain along the way set you up for a bigger win. Jodi is a former intercollegiate women's basketball coach. She uses her skills that she learned in the game of basketball to transition to the game of life. Jodi currently resides in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing your wisdom with our listeners today, Jodi. So on your website, jodigreve.com, and all of Jodi's contact information will be available in the show notes. You have this statement: it's not about finishing first, it's about winning. And I also noticed in the first chapter of your book, Conquering Kilimanjaro, that while you were in grade school, one of the things you said is all you wanted to do was win. And if you didn't win, you were mad. So can you share a little bit about how you flipped that switch? Exactly, exactly. And there's just so much truth to everything that you said. Is we unfortunately teach our younglings that winning is everything. And if you didn't win, if you didn't come in first, you are the first loser. I mean, there are so many things like that that it's just like, but no, what did you learn? It's kind of like, for me, I am not an athlete, never was, so I don't pretend to be. But I did work in the National Basketball Association for a while, so I kind of got that, understand the mindset. And like for me, it's not it's not reaching, and I think you mentioned this too on your website. It's not being first at reaching the destination. It's what are the experience I had along the way. And that's where the growth comes from. And let's do what we can to teach our up and coming athletes. I mean, especially Special Olympics. It's like, oh my God, so what if you didn't come in first? You are here. And how amazing is that? So, you tried. And how amazing is that? And, if you don't even try or tell yourself, well, I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to bother. Well, then of course you're not going to win. You're not even giving yourself the chance. So, a lot of the things that you say on the website, and helping your clients, you help them to embrace the mindset to push through on a daily basis. Believe that your mind and body will do the things that you never imagined possible when they are pushed to the limit. I think we can both acknowledge that. I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor, and if you had told me after my injury that I was going to be an award-winning author, a podcast host, and a successful award-winning business owner, I would have said, oh my God, no. I mean, I'm broken. I broke my head. My brain doesn't work. And yet, because of my attitude, when something didn't go quite right or the way it used to be, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm broken, that's it, life is over, I'm just going to, sit on the couch and watch reruns of The Big Bang Theory and I'm fine. Instead, I just was like, wow, okay, that was different and that didn't work. So what can I do to help myself make it work? And it was a complete, rewiring of my brain and a whole new learning experience of, could I be as I was in the past, a very high level executive assistant for a global behemoth called the Walt Disney Company? Probably not. because the multitasking skills aren't quite there anymore. But that's okay, because what's opened for me being a equine gestalt coach on my ranch, a motivational speaker, and award-winning author, it's like, okay, so if my brain injury didn't happen, I would not have had the opportunity to have all of these experiences. So with your mind shift, with your shift of not, winning isn't everything, was there any soul connection that kind of like sparked that said, okay, this is a different mindset and I can work with this? Exactly. What does that mean? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And as you pointed out, it is definitely the journey. It is not the destination. Winning, there's that old adage: winning isn't everything; it's the only thing. No, it's not. Winning is not, and winning for so many people. If you really ask someone, winning is very subjective. So winning is not coming in first, it's participating in the first place. Now, I will share this with listeners now because this just landed in my lap a couple days ago. I have been invited to participate in the 2024 Miss Senior America Colorado pageant. And I'm, if anyone has read my book, they know that my trigger is I always, if I do participate in something, I come in second. I never come in first. So I'm going into this for the experience. And I will, eat my words if I come in first, and you'll see me with my crown and my sash. But it's not something I would have ever, I'm not a pageant person. I don't do frou-frou. But it's the journey. It's like, oh, this is something I've never even considered. Let's explore this. What does this look like? What can I do? What is my talent? And there's no bathing suits, although there is a evening gown. But I'll deal with that, when I get there. So just it's just listening to the soul wisdom. And it was the little soul wisdom. It was like, well, why not? Give it a shot. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. And, just to add on to that, I went through very, when I was first starting my business and opening things and becoming a equine gestalt coach and running a business. And, I went to conferences and, listened to mentors and took classes. And what I would have to say is what I learned most is what I didn't want to do. It was just like, whatever thing they were selling, whatever program they were selling, I was like, oh, that's like, so, that just doesn't resonate with me at all. So I learned, I invested money and I learned something. I learned what was not going to work for me. So it's the same thing, with athletes and you all sorts of exercise programs and training and everything else, you also learn what doesn't work for you. You know, what works for Michael Jordan does not work for LeBron James. Okay. You know, you learn something. So, what I'd like to do is ask you about, you have a personal journey or spiritual growth or awakening, either while you were on trail in Patagonia or Kilimanjaro or any kind of, you know, and I'm not talking, you know, burning bush on the side of the road or the clouds opened up and, you know, the angels came and spoke to you. But was there an internal little voice that you finally were able to get quiet enough and listen to and shift things? Mm-hmm. Yikes. Okay. Zigzagging. Oh, don't you love that? Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. Uh, right. So you got quiet enough to hear your little soul wisdom saying, "It's okay. You're not going to die. You just keep going. take a breath, one step in front of the other. And yeah, and I can completely relate, not from a hiking perspective, but many years ago, I won't say how many, my husband and I did the California AIDS ride, which is a bicycle ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles. So it's 575 miles. And I've had people tell me, look at a map, it's all downhill. Yeah, no. It's right, exactly. It doesn't mean it's downhill. But, when we trained and we did century rides, we would, do all sorts of training. And every night we were, usually because of me, we were usually the last group to come in. So we were able to get a shower, but it was never got a massage, never were able to get any kind of physical therapy or anything because you weren't there early enough, and the list was filled up by the time we got there. And I remember one night we got in, parked the bikes, then you had to go get your stuff, find your spot, put up your tent. This is all after, 80 miles of up and down, bike riding. And when we got our stuff and I looked to where we had to go and carry everything to where the tents were, I just sat down in the bike parking lot and started crying. And my poor husband, he didn't know what to do with me. And he was like, "Oh my God, do you want me to carry everything? I'll get set up. What can I do?" And I just said, no, just, find me a tissue or something, and I sat there and I cried and I just listened to my little voice and it said, "You made it. And you can still take another step." So we got up, set up the tent, got food, went right to bed. And we got up in the morning. He said, "How are you doing?" He thought I was going to quit. And I put my bike shorts on, put my bike shoes on. I said, "Let's hit the road." And he was like, "Oh my God. You just get quiet, listen to the voice." It's like, I didn't die. Was it a pain in the ass? Yes. We managed. Literally. Yes, literally. But yeah, and I mean, you just get quiet, listen to the voice. And, there will be some times when it's okay to say, "I'm done." Which means you're done for right now. That doesn't mean you're not going to try again. But you're just done for right now. And that's okay. Just listen to what your soul wisdom is telling you. Because there will be times when your soul wisdom is saying, "No, this is not right now." And that's all. It's an amazing journey. And I always like to say I was given the opportunity to experience a traumatic brain injury because it shifted a whole lot of things for me. I can do that. Yep, yep. It's your perspective. It's like, okay, how can I shift this? Oh my God, the whole hill, no. Stop sign to stop sign. Well, sure, I can do that. Okay. Right. 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 Yeah, absolutely. One step at a time. And the analogy that I will use, which I really don't like, but I'll use it anyway, is how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it's like, it's not, I think it was Annie Lamott wrote a book about a young kid who didn't do his school project, and he had 2 days to get his book report done, or this report done on birds, and what was he going to do? And he was freaking out, and his dad said, "Just do it one bird at a time. It's just one thing at a time, one stop sign at a time, one bird at a time, one bite at a time. You don't have to do the whole big thing, just one little piece at a time, and you'll get there. And whatever that works for you is, that's what works for you. It's not, what works for me is not going to work for Jodi. What works for Jodi is not going to work for me. So let's figure out what works. And I do that with my client. What works for me is not going to work for you. Let's figure out what's going to work for you. And, and gear things around that and put the program together around that. So before we close up for this evening, can you share any tips or practices that our listeners can do, like tomorrow? Just to, help with their mindset. No, no is an acceptable answer. Mm-hmm. 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 Exactly. Exactly. Yes, and setting up by voicing either in your mind or out loud, as you said, um, your intentions, your positive affirmations, and what you are doing. I truly believe is you are giving that message to your soul wisdom, and also to spirit, whatever denominational source that you adhere to. You're telling them, this is what I believe, this is what you'll get, this is what is brought back to you. And with the handing out of your intention cards when you do a speaking engagement, I truly believe that no matter what the saying is, I'm sure you've got different sayings on the cards. As you're handing them out, the person who needs to hear that is receiving the right card all the time. And that's truly amazing. And it's just, get quiet, listen to your soul wisdom. So thank you, Jodi, for sharing your wisdom and all of your insights with us today. It's been an honor having you on the show. Links to your website and contact information will be listed in the show notes if anyone wants to get a hold of Jodi for either coaching and or speaking opportunities. It's been a pleasure having you here, and thank you all. And any final words of wisdom, Jodi, before we close out the show? Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'll keep you posted. I can't wait to be sitting here with my crown and sash. So that You're very, very welcome. So that concludes our episode for today. Thank you for tuning in to Soul Wisdom Transitions. Remember, as you navigate through the twists and turns of life transitions, trust in the wisdom of your soul, embrace the lessons, honor the growth, and always remain open to the guidance that comes your way. Until we reconvene for our next soul-stirring conversation, may you continue to blossom into the highest version of yourself, embrace the beauty of your journey, and always be guided by the whispers of your soul. Thank you all.